Ahoy there, friendy endos. I didn't bring my fucking mic forward. I've been doing this for almost 7 years. What the fuck is wrong with me lately? This specific video, I want to update you. And this is not just for TheCriminalViolin, Trippin Outdoors, Ramblin Man Dan, whichever one of the three you may or may not be watching on. It's for all the above, in fact. Yep. So, here is the gist, and I will make sure I have this video separated into chapters, by the way, depending on when something specific about basically the specific focus on one of the channels comes up. So let's start out with the fact that once again, recently, Google decided to be a dick and not announce that they were going to make and implement a bunch of changes to YouTube for creators. I only noticed this, I think, like, closing on 2 weeks ago. I don't think it's been quite 2 weeks, but closing on 2 weeks ago. And I knew that the day I first noticed it, it had to have been within that 24 hours of that point that they implemented fully these changes. Now, the main thing I need to note here is the fact that one of the changes, and this is one thing they literally still haven't said a damn thing that they've done about it, is the fact that they've done away with the discussions tab. Now, if you're familiar, especially with TheCriminalViolin, if you're familiar with me and the channel I've had and been running for almost 7 fucking years now, which is wild to think about, then you should understand and know that the discussions tab has always been my rendition of a community tab. Now, the reason why that is the case is because of the fact that they locked under one of the it was like 2016? Maybe it was 2015? I think it was 2015 actually, they started to do the lockdowns on things. But they started to lock down a bunch of features. And it's the lock I like to call it and refer to it as is the privilege lock. There's a child lock, in this case it's a privilege lock. They lock something behind a lock of privilege. So basically, hey, you have to be privileged enough, or you have to be big enough and have enough consistent audience, watch time, subscribers, etc. to unlock this privilege. Because they're incentivizing you to be really big, grow, however the fuck it, by whatever means necessary, to be able to even make money, but slight little amounts you can off of monetization anyway, but also is really so that they can make money. In other words, you have to be big enough to start bringing them in consistent enough traffic at a big enough rate that they actually start to unlock these privileges. They've been doing this since then. One of the latest ones they decided to, well, actually, that was one of the first ones, rather. They decided to lock away under a privilege lock was the creators tab. Or sorry, the community tab. That's what I meant. And I've always wanted to use the fucking community tab. And I'm sure you actually have interacted with and or at least seen, if you've ever been on YouTube, whether mobile or desktop. I know everybody here has seen what a community post looks like. So what the community tab is on channels. But for those who somehow might not, at least might need, let's say, need some reminders about what it is, when you scroll through YouTube on the main page, right? You're gonna find eventually at some point with one of the channels you're subscribed to or they think you're interested in, they will show you a community post. It usually has a picture with it, but not necessarily, but it can. But effectively, it just looks like a normal, like a, I don't know, almost like a Facebook post or a social media post, right? It can even be just the text. I don't have read more. That is a community tab. That's what it does. It allows you to do that, except its algorithm is completely separate from video algorithms on YouTube for some reason. And so there's actually, I don't know if they probably fixed it by now, but there was an exploit where if you utilized the community tab, if you got it, you could end up getting disgusting amounts of traffic to your channel and your videos, which was fucking amazing for those who had the ability to use it. I've never had that ability because I've never gotten big enough on any of my channels. Go figure. As you can tell. So I've never had that ability. So I always use the discussions tab, because the discussions tab, well, you get to have discussions on there. It's the perfect... It was the perfect place to be able to be a creator like myself that's small, too small to be able to have a privilege unlocked like that, to be able to use like a community tab, so that way you could, as a creator, you could keep people updated. And specifically to whatever channel you're running, or whatever, how many channels you have, you can keep people updated on those channels with what the goings on and what they can expect and all that, directly on the place where they're going to be looking for your content for you. So it was a very good thing to have, and it was helpful, even if very few, if anybody, ever paid attention to my discussion tabs, with some encouragement and nudging. But that's where I updated you guys consistently, because I never want to make a random fucking video that's so fucking temporary like that. Although I'm kind of doing it now, but this is like the only kind of case that works. It makes sense. So, yeah, because in this context, it's a very broad spectrum. So at this case, it's not just one time. So, since I no longer have the discussion tab, because I brutally was brutally awoken to this fact that they removed it without warning, because I wanted to post on my discussions tab on my channel, Ramblin Man Dan, which that basically my official launch for the channel, and the first video on it was gonna be, what was the 19th, I believe. Or no, sorry, the 17th. And I realized that I didn't see a discussions tab, but I'm like, oh, right, I didn't actually turn on the discussions tab, I don't think. Because that's a setting. In the studio for YouTube, but for a creator. I didn't turn that on that channel, so I'm like, okay, cool. So I went to TheCriminalViolin, of course, to update you guys there that, hey, by the way, Ramblin Man Dan's about to launch. There's no discussions tab. Because of fucking course there isn't. So now I can't update anybody on YouTube directly unless I make a very temporary video. Which is fucking bullshit. I think we can all agree that that's fucking bullshit. But that's how Google operates. It's total fucking BS. Anyway, so yeah. So I don't know what the fuck to do now to update you guys on anything. So with this being broad spectrum, therefore, and it's obviously a problem with all my channels now and communities, this is why this video exists. And therefore, in this video, I'm going to specifically talk about at least the channels that make sense to talk about right now, because I think it's kind of obvious to state that this, if you're watching TheCriminalViolin, the main channel, the biggest one so far of everything I have, it's pretty obvious the state that it's in. It's been in the same state pretty much since the beginning. At least since like the middle of this year, I think. Or maybe it was more like around April or May. I can't quite remember. Anyway, so it's been pretty much in the same state since. And it's probably going to stay pretty much in the same state as it has been for the foreseeable future as well. So there's not much to touch on here. As you know, you're guaranteed to always get a political commentary per a month on TheCriminalViolin. So you're watching there, which, like it is, that's the only people that are watching this on any of the channels I have. Then now you're in the loop for that. Yes, there is more gaming content that's been coming out, except that's been way more sporadic than I wanted it to be. But I've just, again, it's like ever since really the last video I posted on Trippin Outdoors, it's been really fucking erratic for me. There's been so many different things I focused on, so many different things I've been doing, and even more emphatic realization, epiphany of just how badly I have it when it comes down to the stupid amount of ideas and passions and desires I have, wants and needs. Like, I have so many. I can't fucking focus on just one for very long at all. It doesn't matter how passionate I am about it. I can't fucking stay focused on it for very long. Eventually, I bounce away from it and on to something else. I think, like, again, Trippin Outdoors was the last video I had, and how long it had been since there was another video uploaded, in this case, this one there, it has been. It's like, that entire time has been so bouncy trance. It's been so erratic. I've been all over the place because of the fact that, like, you'll notice I suddenly started uploading a lot more here. Well, I say here, it's going on all 3 channels on TheCriminalViolin that I had for, well, since I was posting consistently all the big stream-like VODs of the recording sessions of 7 Days to Die with Mario and Randy. And that's because I suddenly got on a random gaming spurt again. I was, like, suddenly super into gaming again. I just, like, that's what my passions do. The things I'm super interested in, I really enjoy happen to. Like, so what happens to them? They just, like, I'll do it for a while and be super into that one, and then suddenly I'm super into a different one, and then super into another one, and then you eventually go back to that one, and then back to the other one, and then you just keep recycling and randomly, erratically, unpredictably bouncing between all these different interests and things. I cannot get a handle on that. I've been trying clearly for nearly 7 years. I just can't fucking do it. I can't do it. I don't have the capability to just focus on one thing. And I think that's, well, one, it's definitely not fair to you guys. It's not even really fair to myself, but it's like, I feel like it's more unfair to me if I try to imprison and bury and ignore all my other super strong passions and interests only to focus on one. And because of all these different interests I have like that, another problem is if I stay focused on just one, I've noticed I get burnt out on it. And that's the last thing I want to do to a passion, is burn out, because I'm just so focused on just one thing. I need and crave variety. I think that's another reason why I keep bouncing all over the place, and I'm so inconsistent, including with my focuses on content creation and uploads through 7 years, well, just about 7 years. January 15th, it'll be 7 fucking years since I started TheCriminalViolin and started my actual proper YouTube quote-unquote career. Seriously, that's a long time. That's almost a full decade. Which means I technically started uploading when I was 20, now that I think about it, which is fucking insane. Oh no, 21. Well, technically, yes, 20, because my birthday's on the 29th of January, but yeah, basically 21. Still, absolutely insane to think about. Fathom. It is wild to think I've been doing this for this long. So yeah, I don't know how to update you guys anymore. Because I'm determined to not give temporary updates on channels for the videos. Yeah, I could go and delete them, but let's be honest, with the way I've been for this length of time, you damn well can tell exactly my habit and what's going to be a problem there. Is I'm not going to fucking remember, and eventually I'm probably not even going to care to delete them or unlist them. And so they're just going to be there temporarily. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just find it kind of annoying and cluttery. And especially TheCriminalViolin is already pretty fucking cluttery, because it's a variety content channel, even though the main focus was supposed to be on gaming. And it was for almost the whole 6 years, going on 7. So this year. Then it started focusing more on commentaries. And now I have Ramblin Man Dan, which is focused kind of more on that aspect of things, where I can just let my brain run semi-free. Because we all know what it's like when I run free. I don't shut the fuck up, and I start branching and branching and branching and branching and branching because I see a correlation, another correlation, another correlation, and I never fucking get back to my point. So, some controls, some leash, if you will, some choke chain on my brain, but it's a lot more loose than it would be elsewhere, because it's in the title, rambling, right? Rambling, being rambling, obviously. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. Yeah, and so, yeah, I do a lot of in case you don't know, that channel is focused on reactions, first impressions, breakdowns, obviously rambles and commentaries here and there. And if you are interested in any of that, make sure you fucking subscribe to that channel. Trust me, you're not gonna fucking regret it. Yeah, it might end up like every other channel I've had, and I'll just keep bouncing around. And eventually I'll suddenly get burned out of that. And you won't know how long you're fucking going to be off of videos on that channel until I suddenly there's channel videos again. But yeah. So definitely make sure if you're interested in this, subscribe there, because you're not going to regret it. You're going to enjoy it, I guarantee. And especially if you enjoy my commentaries, actually. I know you'll enjoy those, even the reaction videos, I'm sure. You'll thoroughly enjoy on there. But yeah, reactions, breakdowns, first impressions, rambles, commentaries, you name it. That's the focus of that channel. So subscribe to Ramblin Man Dan. Please and thank you. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Oh, by the way, at least as of right now, because I haven't alluded to this before, certainly in this video, no, never. I'm uploading a new video there every other day. So, the most consistent I've been probably since the second year I was doing the Criminal Violin, actually, which is kind of weird. Actually, that's trippy. But yeah, hey, welcome back to that. I just realized there's technically, you're going to see like this fucking bar of pixels in the bottom of the screen, but too late, and on the right side apparently. Well, too late now. I didn't expand my webcam enough. Again, almost 7 years doing this. You'd think I'd fucking notice these things. But I don't. Like 40% of the time. My bad. Anyway, so yeah, there's of course there's been a good handful of shit that's been going on anyway, including personal focuses like getting really active again and focusing on exercising and having a clean diet and everything, which I don't know if you know, but I've had a bad sugar addiction for a very, very long time. And any addiction's a bad addiction in my book. So I finally had been trying to kick it, and I was succeeding for like 2 months probably, or at least just about full 2 months straight. I did so fucking well. And then one thing went to another, and it slowly decided to back into where it was. And I'm pretty sure my sugar addiction is going to be just like it is for a lot of people who have alcoholism. So the alcoholics, they have alcohol addiction, which is once you're sober, right? Once you break the addiction, technically the addiction's never gone. So you can have a beer, but then that beer will turn into two, and eventually you'll end up having way too much fucking alcohol all over again. And so a lot of these people find really quickly, okay, I can't allow myself to ever touch alcohol again, because the addiction actually doesn't go ever permanently away. It's always going to be there. And I'm scared that that might be why way my sugar addiction is the synapses will just click right back into gear and be like, all right, let's carry on like nothing happened. Yay. And if I really want to take care of myself and be as healthy and happy as possible, I got to get a handle on that. And so that was another focus I had. Now, all of that was going really well. But you see, I have another habit I'm notorious for, specifically with myself. And that is that I'm a natural contrarian and very fucking viciously defiant and rebellious. And that means, yes, including my brain, to myself. And even unto itself. And I'm not shitting you. So, like, for years, I've absolutely refused to allow myself to go on walks of any kind along roadways or streets. I just won't do it. Or at least I just wasn't doing it. Because, and I've tried this for years to have a will stronger than what my brain seems to be when it comes down to being a naturally defiant, contrarian piece of shit. And it's like, hell yeah, I need this and I want this. But since you're actually trying to get me to want to do it, fuck you, we're being lazy. And that's the way my brain works with this shit. And so, if I take 1 day break, it turns into 2. And then that 2 turns into a week. And sometimes that week turns into 2, 3, even a month. Sedentary. And I feel like shit when I do that. Just like I do when I eat, well, obviously, unhealthily. Go figure. And I felt at my best I had for a long time doing that. But because of that and how strong these things are, and even those habits are, it takes up a stupid amount of my energy and a stupid amount of my focus in every department of my being. Draining into that and just pile driving into it to try to keep myself in check and keep myself going and keep kicking myself harder than my brain's kicking me to not do whatever it is. And then about 3 weeks, I went back into that state because, again, I took a fucking break. It started with a break day after the original one where I was doing really well. Took a one break day, down to 2, then 3, 4. Then I did something. Then 4 became 5 or 6 or 7. And then I did something. And then it was 2 weeks straight that I did something. And then it became 3 weeks straight. And now we're here. Where as of the 19th, I officially took up deciding to do what I'm calling the 75-day goal, which is to, and there's multiple goals actually within it. By the way, for context, 75 days, why then did I select 75 days? Well, believe it or not, it's because of one half of IBP, Ireland Boys Productions on YouTube, so YouTubers, content creators, that I actually enjoy from time to time watching the videos of, although that's, again, depends on my mood and what I'm interested in that moment. But yeah, so Ricky of that brother duo on Instagram actually noted that he had realized that there was exactly, from that day, 75 days until the 1st of January 2022. And immediately it sparked an extra motivation in me that day of like it just clicked where it's like, holy shit, this makes perfect sense to make today the day that I'm actually gonna fucking do all of this shit, including kicking myself harder than my brain tries to kick me to not do what I need and want to do. So in this case, specifically exercise and having a not strong enough will and resistance to not fall into the temptation of, oh, look, sugar, or oh, look, donut, or oh, look. Yeah, like I said, sugar addiction, it's bad. And I fucking love donuts, so this is, now I'm thinking about it, I'm torturing myself. Or, hey, look, let's be lazy instead, because you know I need and I want to exercise and move. So let's not do that. Let's do the opposite, because I'm contrarian. And I have to kick myself harder than that. And that is so fucking hard when it's so fucking lifelong and ingrained. It's brutal. But I'm doing it. Today was the... So no, actually, no, that would be 18th, I guess. 75 days at the end of the year. Anyway, yeah, so today was day 4, and I did it. I did the thing. I've done it 4 days in a row. And, oh, by the way, massive bowl of fruit. Yes, with bee vomit on it, which is high glycemic, but shh, it's way better than refined white processed sugar, probably from genetically modified sugar beets, admittedly. So, endlessly better than that, and healthier. And it's raw and local honey, too, so you can shut your face. And I love bee vomit. Go figure. Who would have thought? It's high. I need to shut up, actually. That's what I'm focusing on right now. Along with, of course, ensuring that you guys get those videos on Ramblin Man Dan. So there's that. Super! And I am so unsure. Kermit the Frog here. I am so unsure of what... This is my natural state. I do this by myself all the time, where I just randomly find myself speaking in various voices. So for some reason, I just naturally went into a Kermit voice. It's literally spontaneous. I never expect it. It's not a thought, it's subconscious. It just naturally happens, like instinct, like breathing. This is what happened. Anyway, Kermit the Frog here. So, yeah, no, seriously, I might. There it is again. What the fuck? I may. Slavic. I might. I'm fucking wound up, dude, because I socialized. I don't know what the fuck. Like, I swear to God, my brain's on the fritz right now. Trying so fucking hard to keep on track, and I'm losing it. Oh my God. Yeah, you're getting the real me though when I get wound up. Holy shit. Fuck. What am I doing right now? Right. I might end up putting up my political commentaries of the month on Ramblin Man Dan. It would fit the premise of that channel really well and a lot better, but I would rather have myself kind of properly feeling I've properly set it up to then contain things like straight up political commentaries there. So at some point in the future, you might be smart to check over on Ramblin Man Dan. If you aren't seeing the political commentary of the month pop up on TheCriminalViolin, you might want to check that channel and subscribe there. Not just for that content, but also for and any commentaries I do there, but also potentially if it might spring up over there. Because then at that point, you'll definitely know. And again, I don't want to make random super temporary videos where I'm like, hey guys, by the way, I want to update you. It's over here now. It's just not conducive, I don't think. It doesn't make sense, and it's not efficient to me. So it's like I don't want to do that. So I probably won't. So this is just as a very important thing to heed here as a preface and so you understand this, is there is a chance that I might move it over there. So if you don't see one pop up one of these months, definitely not this month, but one of the following months, and it's been the full month through and you didn't see it, I guarantee you it's not because of the fact I did not produce it. It's going to be because of the fact that it's actually on Ramblin Man Dan at that point. And if I move it over there once, it's probably going to stay over there, admittedly. Yeah, it's just something I've been thinking about, and it makes sense to me, but that's another thing about me. I'm way too fucking indecisive with shit. Like, I just don't know what the fuck to do with myself half the fucking time when it comes down to decision making, especially things like this. When it involves, like, efficiency and logic, I get so fucking stuck on myself, so to speak, like, mentally and logistically. My brain just goes into a fight with itself, and I can never fucking pick a side. And it sucks, dude, because both sides make perfect logical sense, which is why I can't fucking decide half the time. And then other times it's like, there's no reason to make a decision here. But then you also understand a lot of times, say, if you're with somebody, they're waiting on you to make it anyway. So it's not like it fucking matters either. But, yeah, so more perspective there. But I'm digressing. Anyway, that said, I kind of already touched on why you might not have seen content on Trippin Outdoors. Another reason why I suddenly stopped is because I got demotivated. The main reason why is because of the fact that, one, technically stubbornness played a part. I only wanted to do west side. I didn't want to go into the city proper. I didn't want to go east side, south side, any of that. I wanted to stay on the west side of the Portland metro area for the NCNP, the No Car, No Problem series I'm running over there. There's another stubborn thing, but to me this makes perfect logical sense, and that is that I want to keep the proper titular variety. So you don't just have trip report content and outdoors content and then NCMP, which kind of falls in between, I guess, sort of. I want to make sure that I keep a rhythm going, if that makes any sense, a variety. So basically I can pop back and forth between videos here and there of what I'm focusing on. I've never liked the idea of having the same content produced, even if it's completely different in the sense of it's a different focus, it's a different place, locale, everything. If it's still the same series, to me, it's dumb if you have any kind of variety on your channel to just keep pushing out that same series. And that's the way I felt like I was starting to go with NCMP, because I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do next. I know a bunch of other places on the west side I want to touch for different episodes of NCMP. But the problem with that is the top half of the top 1%. I'm getting to that point where it's like I feel like I'm becoming Bernie Sanders again. I want to make it very clear. And that time I actually did way better than I expected. Usually I can't do impressions if I'm intentionally trying. But I did actually... Well, to make it very clear, it's not bad. I'm actually proud of myself for that. That works. It's very entertaining. Senator for Vermont. See now, see there it is. There's the fucking intention thing. My brain's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. No, no, bad, no. You can't want to do it. Then I'll let you do it. But otherwise, fuck you. I'm making it sound terrible. I don't know why is my brain the way it is. I'm scrambled. And like this is, you're getting my fucking brain on when it's just like wound up way. Raw as fuck right now. Let me try to reset myself again. Fuck my life. Right, so to me it makes sense that I wouldn't want to do that as well because it could typecast yourself. And that sucks. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't been fishing since the last fishing videos you saw. Because I literally have not been fishing since that day that I went fishing. And the last video you saw. Yeah, so that's why I haven't done it. Is because I only have my own 2 feet in TriMet to rely on. And that's it. Which means I can only bank fish. And it doesn't matter where you go, there's not much bank for you to fish. Whether it's private property, fencing, cliffs, rocks, steep hills that are probably muddy, and you're gonna slide in, and what do? Obviously lots of shrubbery, trees, brush, understory, all that. Himalayan blackberries are rampant everywhere. It's the Pacific Northwestern kudzu, sadly. But yeah, so like, fuck. So yeah, I'm boxed out, I feel like, and I don't like the concept or idea of only fishing bank areas in like a park or something, and then being like, well, I didn't catch anything again. See you next time. It doesn't feel right, you know? I want to have as much of a day as I can out fishing and be able to cover as much water as I can. You can't really cover much water fishing from the bank, especially in the restricted bank line that you will have to fish. It sucks, man. I feel really bad about that. So that's another reason why I've been super demotivated, because it's like I don't have access to the shit that I really know I need access to for the longevity of the content in the channel and my motivation and the viability of it, the entertainment level of it, you know? So it doesn't feel right to continue to produce the same series with new episodes and potentially risk typecasting myself to that. And there are people like, well, where's the fishing content? Where's the other outdoors content? Well, I have my 2 feet. And a slight bit of bank to work with. I like, it made me really wake up to realize how badly I was leaning on hopefully getting that car so I could get my permit and then my license with it and then have my car. Like, that's how heavily I've been leaning into that, and I didn't even realize it. That's how also useful, intensely useful it is. Like, it infinitely expands my horizons as to all the places I can go and all the content I can create and all that stuff. Endlessly, man. And it obviously hasn't happened yet, unfortunately. I thought it would. I really felt like it would. It seemed like it was. Like, things were suddenly moving really fast, but then, you know, since it still involves other moving parts and other people, it just becomes this thing where it complicates itself. And then with the shit that me and my family have gone through this year, pretty much everybody else in my family is super depressed off and on right now. And sometimes they get worse. And plus, seasonal depression is probably playing a part for some of them too, on top of the fact we still don't know what the fuck happened to my eldest brother. If it really was a suicide, if it was some sort of a takedown, so to speak, if he really is dead, like, we don't know anything about it. And everything about how they've handled the fucking thing is really fucking wrong. It's really fishy. It doesn't nothing makes sense. Nothing adds up. And it's starting to really strongly suggest that at least there's some strong tampering going on, if not quite literally either he was taken out or he got, but not dead-wise got, but more like, hey, we're going to control you now. Got. Seems really far-fetched and fishy, but, like, maybe he really did know some shit he wasn't supposed to have, and they just got pissed. Which with him is inherently possible. I don't fucking know. I don't know. That's up in the fucking air. But my point for mentioning that is that's amplifying the pushing out of being able to get the fucking vehicle, sadly. And that's the permit and license. And again, the background behind that is, yes, it's just a reading thing, so I could get my permit, my learner's permit, off the bat anytime I wanted. But I want to make sure I have the car I'm going to own first before I officially start to learn on the car itself. So I get accustomed to and used to the car that I'm going to use perpetually until, say, I make enough money and it gives the ghost, then I can go get another one. You know, like that way I am familiar with the vehicle I'm learning on, and that makes it even more likely and better and comfortable for me to be able to actually get my license. Then at that point I can use it to get my actual driver's license as well, which likelihood is going to give them extra comfort and those bonus points for me on their test, because of the fact they're going to be like, okay, this is the car he's intending to use after he gets his license. This is the car he also used to learn with his permit. So that makes us more comfortable because we know he's comfortable with the vehicle. He understands and knows this vehicle now inside and out. He knows its quirks, and he knows how to handle it because he's gotten used to it. So, like, that's the logic behind that. Getting the car first before getting the permit. So, for context, in case anybody's wondering, because yes, I could just get my permit now, but I wouldn't have any vehicle I could practice on. So with that context and everything out of the way, these are the reasons why throughout this video strewn about, really, and these additional ones currently, why I have not been uploading to Trippin Outdoors. I just don't know what to do with myself with that anymore. And what's worse is it's now this time of year, and I do not have any waterproof equipment. My microphones are not waterproof. My cameras are not waterproof. They can be waterproofed inside of a thick plastic case, but then that's going to really degrade the quality of the videos, because the entire videos will then be filmed through the fucking plastic. That's not conducive. That doesn't make sense to me. And that's kind of my own bad. To be fair, I probably should have spent the money on an actual GoPro, but because those are waterproof and they're rainproof, but I didn't do that. So I'm, let's say, drenched. Topically, that's fitting. In regards to creating content for Trippin Outdoors there as well, because it's going to be too moist and too wet and too unpredictable weather-wise. And on top of that, you have very little daylight. So that sucks. It actually makes me feel really sad and a little bit actually physically ill now that I think about it. Like, oh fuck, I might not be able to make any until like next late spring for that channel. That feels really fucking bad, because that's the last thing I'd want. But I don't have the gear to do it. I just don't. And I also don't have rain gear. I literally do not own rain gear. When I went out for the walk tonight, I quite literally volunteered to get fucking soaked. And I mean, I got soaked, dude. I was just shorts and t-shirt as always, because otherwise I'd overheat. And I got soaked through my shirt. I got soaked through my pants and my fucking underwear, which I didn't think I did. I didn't think it was that wet. I got home to change out of my clothes, at least my shorts. My boxers on the front were completely fucking soaked through from the rain. I'm like, oh, I actually legitimately did not think I got that wet on my pants, but apparently I somehow didn't notice I was very wet in a fairly sensitive area of a male's body. Somehow, I don't understand how that happened, but the point's made. So, yeah, I don't own any rain gear. And that is another problem with me, especially when I'm moving and exercising. Even the most basic movement, I will overheat way too fucking quick. Even in 30-degree weather, I overheat in a jacket. Like, an example, it was 29 degrees outside. The wind chill's like 24. There's probably, I don't know, an inch and a half of snow and sleet on the ground, and then like another half inch of ice on top of that. And I'm spending like hour and a half, 2 hours straight out there. And literally 95% of the time, I did not have my sweat jacket on at all. I didn't even go out with my sweatpants on. And I still sweat because I was still too hot because I was moving. And it's 29 degrees with a 24-degree wind chill. And that situation. So to give perspective, if I were to actually use and wear rain gear, if I overheat then really think about how much I'm going to overheat in 50s or 60s or 40s. It's bad. So like, I can't fucking wear that gear. And so I pretty much would have to be drenched. And it basically just puts me in a paradoxic state, in a possible position I can't fucking cure. And there's nothing really I can do about it. And you could say, well, you could use an umbrella, until you think about the logistics of holding a camera, having the microphone on you, and also having to turn on and off your camera or like refocus it or whatever else. It really complicates things. And the transfers of your backpack, it holds all your gear and everything else. You have to sit with your water bottle in there. Like, trust me, it's not worth the pain in the ass tediousness to use a fucking umbrella to make it work. And even then, you're still going to get some precipitation in wherever you're holding your camera. And plus, you're going to have the fucking umbrella in your shot the whole time, which kind of inhibits stuff. It's, yeah, no, trust me. I go into excessive forethought and what I call future-proofing on things. And, yeah, it's a problem. So, there you go. But yeah, now that all said, I'm thinking about what, obviously one of these days when it's not raining, about live streaming at least a part of one of my fucking walks. For the hell of it, I thought, why not? It'd actually technically be most topical, obviously, on Trippin Outdoors. Wouldn't really necessarily fit with what I want on that channel, but it would get content there, and you would be able to interact with me, and you would be able to see, well, me outdoors, right? Oh, the outdoors, because that was originally under one of the privilege locks for quite a long time. Like, it wasn't that way until I think 2016. I think latter half of 2016. Then they decided to put it under the privilege lock again, to where you couldn't do mobile live streaming on YouTube at all unless you got the privilege lock unlocked on thrown off of it, because you got big enough. You're directing enough traffic to their website now. But in that update where they took away the discussions tab, they actually did something that made some fucking sense and was actually a good idea for once. And this is literally the very first time they've ever done that with one of these stupid things that they don't tell people they're going to do, and then they do it anyway. Which is what this was, as usual. But yeah, so they actually, for the first time ever, Google actually did something smart and good, and they took the privilege locks off of mobile live streaming. So now anybody, as long as they have a verified account, which literally just means you have a phone number verified on it, so now anybody who's done that can live stream. So you can have 0 subscribers, 0 views, never done anything. You can just like mobile live stream now off your phone. So that's pretty cool. And I thought maybe someday, for TheCriminalViolin, I was thinking that maybe at some point if I'm out and about or on one of those walks, I might live stream then as well, right? Or maybe I'm going to stop somewhere that's going to be dry, guaranteed. I can do my political commentary there for the month, but I could live stream it, which is kind of dangerous actually now I think about it, since the internet and it's political. Oh god. But that's probably not the greatest idea, but I still might do it anyway because I think it'd be kind of a fun way to do it, a different way to do it, right? And it still gets you and it would probably get you it way sooner because then it wouldn't be edited, and likely it is. In fact, I just go guarantee I wouldn't do it on a day like this where I'm wound up. I also wouldn't do it on a day where I'm more cranky because of the fact, or more opinionated and everything, because I lack sleep or I'm just too tired. I don't do political commentaries on those days because every time I have done it, I hate how it turns out. Because I'm just like, I'm like one of the worst versions of myself on those days, no matter how hard I try. And it seems like, okay, I'm doing good this day, I'll do it. And then I'll realize once I started going to that, I wasn't better anymore. I was the same as I always am. So, yeah. So I wouldn't do it on one of those days. Anyway, so you would have it as I would normally record it on a good day. So we'll see about that as well. But yeah, so that's basically this. That's basically it. That's what I wanted to address. That's what I wanted to tell you. So that's what's going on lately. And that's why things are the state that they are on each of my 3 channels. Once again, I can only encourage you enough to peruse Ramblin Man Dan. Yes, indeed. I will link it in the description below. Actually, better than linking in the description below, I'll just connect it via switching to them and check my account, that account on either desktop or my phone, and commenting on this video with whatever the fuck I decide to comment with, so that you guys are able to actually legitimately see what the channel is. And you can just fucking click on it and boom, you'll be at the channel, and then you can see what's scribby. Give it a nice old submarine sandwich. That's right, I haven't said that for subscribe in probably close to 2 years. Now I think about it, holy shit, it's been a long time. But I was saying that for years otherwise. I was always saying, and submarine sandwich. A lick and submarine sandwich. Like and subscribe. So, yeah. I'm going to shut the fuck up. You get the gist. Make sure you subscribe over there if you're interested in that content. And if you're curious. And or if you're into the political commentaries of the month. Just in case it shows up there instead at some point. Because I'm again not going to make a personalized video for that update. So, if you don't see it here one of these months in the future, not this month, if you do not see the political commentary, I say here, on the Criminal Violin, then again, I guarantee to you, it's fine. I didn't not do it. I definitely did, and it's definitely up. It's just going to be on Ramblin Man Dan, so all the more reason for that crowd to also subscribe to Ramblin Man Dan. Plus, again, Ramblin', it's kind of self-explanatory. You know there's going to be rambles and breakdowns there, so just there you go. All right. Thanks for sticking around. If you watch this entire thing, I apologize for the pain I've caused you, but I have to live with this every fucking day, so you don't have it half bad, so stop whining. Why are you crying? Suck it up. I hear. And, yeah, you stay sexy. Or not. I mean, if you want to get hit by a fucking cactus on a freight train, it is your prerogative, so. Yeah. Actually, it might turn you more sexy, you never know. Some people, it definitely would. Alright. Stay safe or not. Again, your prerogative. It's whatever day. So, see you later. Okay. Bye-bye.